Hi guys, we're going to be doing some fractions in our math packet today. We are going to be adding and subtracting, and through this video you should be able to do pages 23 through I think 28. You don't have to do them all in one day, and you do not have to do them all right after this video. Take your time with them. I'm just showing you this, but it works for all of those pages. Okay, so the very first thing is we're going to have our quick little drawing. We're going to start with a teardrop shape because I miss you so much. I'm going to cut off the top and make like a V. And I'm going to put a round little head, 2 eyeballs, and a beak, some little feet, and some bird seed on the ground for my bird. I told you it was quick, okay? We have a lot to do with fractions. Bye, bird. All right. You should be able to add and subtract fraction following simple steps. Okay? We're going to keep saying the simple steps over and over again. I can't write them out because if I write them out, I won't have any room for my work. But I will be saying them constantly over and over again. Okay. So before we can start with our examples, I need to go over some vocabulary. This is a fraction. Okay. I have a numerator, the parts I have, and the denominator, which tells me how many pieces it takes to make a whole. Let's think of pizza. If I have 9 pieces of pizza, this is telling me I can make a whole. It takes 9 pieces to make a whole. So if I have 9 pieces, I would have a whole pizza. I don't have 9 pieces, though. I have 7. So this is telling me that I have less than a whole pizza. Okay, so I have less than a whole. When your numerator is smaller than your denominator, you have less than a whole. Okay. And we just talked about this. If I have 9 pieces and it takes 9 pieces to make a whole, then I do have a whole pizza, okay? Or I do have one whole. So when your numerator and your denominator are the same number, you have created a whole. If your numerator is larger than your denominator, then this is an improper fraction. This means that I have more than a whole. I have more than a whole pizza because I have one whole pizza, because it takes 9 slices to make a pizza, and then I'll have 2 extra slices as well. So I would have a whole pizza and 2 extra slices. So that was just a quick little thing about our fractions. Now the first page, page 23, is just a fraction plus a fraction. The second page, which is 24, deals with a fraction plus a mixed number. Now a mixed number is just a whole number and a fraction. So we're going to do number 6, which is 2 3/4 plus 5/6. And I believe they wrote these horizontally, left to right, and we're going to write them vertically so that way we have room to solve this. Okay, the very first step is to find your denominators, 4 and 6. My second step is I'm going to list my multiples of my denominators. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. Okay, so I've written out my multiples. The next step is to find your least common multiple. So I'm going to look on both of these lists to see if there are numbers that are the same. They both have 20. They both have 12. This is where that least part comes in. We want to use the smallest one that they share. So we're going to use 12. 12 will now be our new common denominator. Okay, so how many 6s did it take to get to 12? it took 2. What I do to the bottom, I do to the top. This is a form of 1 because remember, we have the same numerator and denominator because I'm changing the name that we're going to call it, but I'm not changing its value. It's still going to mean 5, 6. But I cannot add or subtract fractions if they do not have the same denominator. It's kind of like saying if I have 1 apple plus 2 bananas, I don't have 3 apple bananas. I would have to change it to maybe fruit. So I would have 3 pieces of fruit. So we need to find something that they have in common. Okay, so 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, 4, it takes 3. So my form of 1 here is going to be 3 over 3, or 3/3. 3 times 3 is 9. I've used this spot. I like to box it out because I'm done with it. It was just kind of like workspace. And I'm going to add 9 plus 10 because I keep the same denominator. So I'm just adding my numerators. 9 plus 10 is 19. 2 is the only thing on my whole number side, so I put a 2. What did we remember about this one? This is that improper fraction. So I'm really thinking about this in my head as going 19 divided by 12. So I'm trying to figure out how many 12s, how many wholes I can get out of these 19 pieces. So how many 12s are in 19? 1 and 7 left over. This is my whole number. This is my numerator. And this is my denominator. So 19 twelfths really means 1 and 7 twelfths left over. Okay. Now we're not quite finished because I have a whole number here and a whole number here. So I like to draw it out. Kind of looks like a frog sticking out its tongue, and we put them together to make 3 and 7 twelfths because we added the 2 and the 1 together to make our 3 and we kept our fraction. So our whole number and our fraction together is called a mixed number. So now we have our answer of 3 and 7 twelfths. On page 25, we go into subtraction, and it's subtraction of just fractions. And then on page 26, it is a subtraction page of just mixed numbers, I believe. Okay. Now my children have written messages to you guys. Hello, good morning from Janelle. And good morning, people I don't know, and that's from my son, Jameson. They're funny little guys. They want so badly to be on camera, but I told them no. All right, so on page 26, number 10, it starts with 6. That marker is not working. It starts with 6 and 2/5. And they want you to subtract 3 and 3/4. Okay. So again, we need to find our denominators, 5 and 4. We're going to list our multiples of 4 and 5. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I like to put out at least 5. Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20. And I can stop here because they both have 20. That means 20 is my new common denominator. Remember, I'm going to come over here now and find equivalent fractions because I don't want to change their value. I just want to change the name or the look of it. 4s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It takes 5. So my form of 1 is 5 over 5. 3 times 5 is 15. 5, it takes 4. So my form of 1 will be 4/4. 2 times 4 is 8. All right, I'm going to get rid of this as this was my workspace area. And I have a slight problem. I have 8 minus 15. I don't have enough to subtract 15 from it, so I have to regroup and borrow. So I'm going to go over to my 6. The 6 becomes 5. Now, when we were subtracting in a regular number, we would cross out and borrow 10 because our place value system is based on tens. So we're in fractions now. So that's not going to be the case. We're not just bringing 10 over. What we have to do is look at this and remember what that denominator stands for. The denominator tells me how many pieces make a whole. So I would need 20 20ths in order to bring a whole over. Plus the 8 that I have means it's 28 20ths. Or you can add your numerator plus your denominator together for your new numerator of 28. Okay. 28 minus 15, because you're going to do numerator minus numerator. And it's okay to write it on the side. This is why you have your scrap and open area. 8 minus 5 is 3, 2 minus 1 is 1. So 13 is my numerator, and my denominator stays the same. 5 minus 3 is 2. So the answer to this one is 2 and 13 20ths. All right. The last 2 pages, pages 27 and 28, are word problem pages. So, again, just remember what you do in class. Find your important data and information. Underline it, circle it, box it out, whatever you need to do. Make your little notes on the side. And you're also going to look for your keywords. Okay? So if you're wondering if you should add those fractions or to subtract those fractions, look for some of your keywords. For instance, adding, they might ask you in total. What is the total that they have? They want you to add those. They might say in all. They might say all together. And they might even write the word sum. Okay? In order to subtract, they might say things like how much more? How many more? How much less? They might ask for the difference. They might ask what is left or left over. Okay? So if they're giving you some of these words, they're giving you a hint and a clue as to what you need to do to solve them. Okay, so remember to be that little detective and look for those clues and all the information that you need in order to solve it. All right, so that is it for today. Please remember, even though this information will work for pages 23, 24, 23 was adding just fractions, 24 was adding fractions in mixed numbers, 25 was subtracting with fractions, 26 was subtracting with mixed numbers, 27 and 28 are going to be adding and subtracting mixed and fractions with word problems. Okay? You do not need to do all those pages in one day. You do not have to do it in all one sitting. I did it in all one video because they all relate to each other. Okay, so I will see you around for the next video. I hope you're staying healthy. I really do miss you. I wish we were in a class right now, but we're going to have to do our part, and hopefully we'll be together soon. Miss you guys.